Hello and welcome to Liberty News. I am Aonduna Inga. In the headlines, Supreme Court upholds Saraki's appeal on asset declaration, frees him of charges. President Buhari meets Khan, challenges judiciary on speedy prosecution of killers of Nigerians. Speaker House of Representatives Dogara cautions media against hate speech. And on the international scene, U.S. terminates funding for Zimbabwe's rights groups ahead of general elections. And on sports, CAF appoints Amaju Pinnick as first vice president. Details of this and more will come to you in the bulletin. Thank you for joining us, and now the news in detail. The Supreme Court has upheld the appeal of Senate President Bukola Saraki and discharged him of the remaining 3 charges against him in the case of false declaration of assets. The court upheld the appeal in a lead judgment delivered by Justice Sentus Nweze on Friday in Abuja, the nation's capital. Senator Saraki had filed an appeal at the Apex Court to challenge the ruling of the Court of Appeal, which asked the Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT) to try him on 3 of the 18 counts brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The Supreme Court then fixed today to deliver its ruling after hearing the appeal and cross-appeal filed by the Senate President and the Anti-Graft Agency over the allegations of false asset declaration. The lead judgment delivered by Justice Nweze was supported unanimously by the 5-man panel of the court. In the main appeal, the Supreme Court vacated the judgment of the appeal court, which held that Saraki had questions to answer with regards to charges 4, 5, and 6 in an 18-count of non-declaration of assets and money laundering before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. President Muhammadu Buhari has declared a national emergency on the war against corruption to enable the federal government to effectively deal with the ongoing high-profile corruption-related cases in the country. President Buhari made the declaration while signing Executive Orders No. 6 of 2018 on the preservation of assets connected with serious corruption and other relevant offenses at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He said the declaration of emergency had become necessary owing to the need to rekit and retool government arsenal to be able to effectively tackle corruption perilous counter-attack against the Nigerian state. According to him, there are more grounds to cover in the war against corruption as the federal government is prepared to go out to possess those lands by cutting off any means that facilitates corruption and supports its growth. He noted that from available records, the aggregate value of funds involved in some ongoing prosecution of high-profile corruption-related cases stood at 596 billion naira. And still on the presidency, the President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged the nation's judiciary on the need to ensure speedy prosecution of all suspects so far arrested in the connection with killings of innocent Nigerians across the country. The President made the call when he met with leaders of Christian Association of Nigeria Khan Northern Chapter at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He noted that already hundreds of suspects had been apprehended by the military and police across the various flashpoints in the affected regions. President Muhammadu Buhari, who frowned at those attempting to politicize the killings by associating him or his administration with the reported killings, noted that several prosecutions were going on. According to the President, Nigerians are religious people and no religion or culture accepts the killing of people for any reason whatsoever. President Buhari therefore called on the clerics and religious leaders to join hands with the government in promoting peace and stability in the country. And still on security, the Defense Headquarters has dismissed allegations of extrajudicial killings by troops of 6 headsmen and 150 cows by the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Nasarawa State. The troops were under Operation Whale Stroke to end killings in the state, Benue and Taraba states. The Acting Director, Defense Information Brigadier General John Akim, stated this while briefing journalists in Makurdi on the activities and achievements so far recorded by the operation. Liberty News correspondent Naomi Ishagu-Bogo reports.
Brigadier General Agimu explained that the McBan accusation was published in 3 national dailies, reiterated that the troop of Operation Wild Stroke did not kill herdsmen or cows, as acclaimed by the chairman, Nasarawa State chapter of the association. The acting director of Defense Information said the mandate of the operation is to completely restore law, order, peace and security in Benue, Nasarawa, Taraba and Zamfara states. Hence, it is the duty of the operation to ensure people in the affected states go about their their lawful duties without fear of molestation from any quarters. Brigadier General Agim said a condone and search operation was carried out successfully by the troops of Operation Wild Stroke at a suspected herdsmen militia camp in Barkin-Kota village, Keana local government area of Nasarawa State, adding that the militia element reorganized and attacked the team, killing 2 soldiers and 5 personnel injured, including the leader of the troops. He said the situation led to reinforcement of troops and the militia sustained some casualties in the firefight, which led to the recovery of 1 AK-47 rifle fitted with magazine, 2 locally made guns, 1 pistol, 1 axe, and 800 rounds of 7.62mm rounds of 7.62mm special. The acting director of Defense Information expressed worries that for the chairman of Nasarawa State chapter of MACBAN to identify the militia element as members of his association, some questions beg for answers, pointing out that even as the military is not in a hurry to link MACBAN to the militia group, investigation is ongoing to unravel those behind the death of their men, and that the military is ready to take down those who are responsible alongside their sponsors. On the other hand, the Brigadier General enumerated some achievements recorded by the operation.
Let me emphasize that within the 2 months of Operation Wild Stroke launch, it has recorded tremendous achievement in its efforts to restore peace and order in Nasarawa, Taraba, and Benue states.
He said the troops have continued to carry out special patrols of farmlands to sustain peace and build confidence of the people as they carry out their economic activities. Also, the troops have so far arrested 46 suspects in Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states with assorted arms and ammunition.
So far, the Wild Stroke have arrested 21 suspects and recovered 20 weapons and 882 rounds of assorted ammunition in Nasarawa State.
He acknowledged that, to a great extent, the successes recorded was supported by 54 sorties from the Nigerian Air Force. In Makurdi, Naomi Ishakubugu, Liberty News.
Yemi Osinbajo has said that the celebration of the 2018 Nigerian Army Day at Mongunu in Borno North was a proof that the end of the Boko Haram terrorist group will come sooner than later. Osinbajo, who spoke at a mini trade fair and military equipment exhibition as part of activities to mark the day, also said that it was a proof that the terrorists had been substantially degraded. According to him, Borno and the entire northeast region will surely bounce back and, with the support of the rest of the country, make up for the years of bloodshed and destruction. The vice president said that the Sambisa forest, once the symbol of Boko Haram's domination of the region, had been reclaimed, while the work of rebuilding had started in many communities across the state. Osinbajo expressed delight over the progress being recorded by the ongoing Operation Last Hold, designed to rid remnants of terrorists from the Lake Chad Basin and northern Borno. The vice president noted in the last 3 years, life was gradually returning to many parts of Borno as schools had been reopened, airlines resumed flights, religious celebrations held, major roads and highways opened. In the face of recent violent protests that led to the loss of life and disruption of economic activities in Kaduna by members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, IMN, popularly known as Shiites, Kaduna residents have raised alarm over likely repeat of such with the arraignment of Sheikh Ibrahim Al-Zakzaky in court. Members of the public speak with Liberty News correspondent Sani Garba Hassan. His report.
Expressing their reservation over public peace, lives and property, many of those who spoke with Liberty News said they are not comfortable with the continuous trial of the Shiite leader in Kaduna, as his followers will dare law enforcement agents through violent protests as seen the last time. They advised that moving the trial to another place with better security arrangement will be preferable.
If we are the government of Kaduna State or even the federal government, but they should take him to elsewhere outside Kaduna State. Let them go and try him, so that any of his supporters that feel can go there.
So the government has to be serious. They have to, they should make sure that before that man comes to Kaduna here, they should put in a proper security, so that we are living in peace now. We don't want any problem.
The way they are doing, we are not happy. If they want to bring the case in Kaduna, let security be available.
So my opinion that is that the government should do the proper thing they're supposed to do. Why did they even bring it back to Kaduna? That is my major problem. Why did they judge everything in Abuja there?
If they bring the Al-Zakzaky to court, I want the security people to make sure protect people's life and the properties.
Others, however, blame the law enforcement agent, especially the police, for not being proactive and put measures in place to forestall such violent protests that often lead to loss of lives and property.
Cannot be able to curtail them. If they know that they want to try Al-Zakzaky in Kaduna here, they should involve army immediately. They should not wait until when the thing escalates before we start coming.
But the issue of security is that the security here, especially the police, they don't have arms. They don't have it. That's why they killed that man. If the man would have had arms, he would have started shooting up. All of them would have run away.
Police themselves, if no say problem is going to be happening in the state, there's supposed to be enough police in the street. When they kill that policeman, about 30 minutes, no single police pass.
Anything about court, but my advice to government, if they want to carry the case to somewhere, at least they can do it. Because we need peace in Nigeria, we need peace in Kaduna State.
All effort by the Liberty Television to speak with the Nigerian police proved abortive, but the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, says there are outing measures in place to forestall such acts and protect lives and property of the citizenry in the state before, during, and after trial of the IMN leader Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. Sani Garba Hassan, Liberty News.
The leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has declared July 9th to July 11th as National Day of Prayers and Fasting Program against the killings across the country. The association also called on all Nigerians both within and outside the country to take part in the program. The President, Reverend Samson Ayokule, made the announcement in a statement signed by the Special Assistant Media and Communications to the CAN President, Pastor Adeboyo Oladeji in Abuja. Ayokule said that the decision was hinged on the willful and persistent killings of fellow citizens in general and Christians in particular, and mostly in Plateau and Benue states where mass burial has become the norm. He stated that all the National Executive Committee members of CAN, the church and denominational leaders have been invited to participate in a peaceful protest march to both the National Assembly and the State's House of Assembly to impress on the government to see the need to effectively stop the unprecedented killings. And moving on, the mass promotion of police officers has been described as an effort to boost the morale of officers. The Kebbi State Police Commissioner Kabir Ibrahim stated this while responding to questions from journalists at the Government House Birnin Kebbi just after decorating 2 police officers with their new ranks. Liberty News correspondent Hamza Galadima Azur reports.
The Police Commissioner Kabir Ibrahim, who was speaking to the press after assisting the Governor, Senator Abakar Atiku Bagudu, in decorating the aide-de-camp and the Chief Security Officer to the Governor with their new ranks of Deputy Superintendents of Police, said the decoration was part of a greater effort by the Inspector General of Police in which over 100,000 police officers were promoted to the next ranks, all in the effort to boost their morale. He said since assuming office, the Inspector General of Police has made the welfare of officers and men of the Nigerian police force a priority.
Again, the promotion, which he has done since its inception, over 100,000 officers have been promoted. In Kebbi State alone, we have witnessed this promotion of 234 officers. And
the Commissioner also spoke on the newly promoted officers, whom he described as hardworking and loyal officers. Earlier, the Governor, Senator Abakar Atiku Bagudu, and the Police Commissioner jointly decorated the 2 officers, Mohammed Bello and Abubakar Sharif Hassan, with their new ranks of Deputy Superintendents of Police. Hamza Galadi Mazuru, Liberty News from Birnin Kebbi.
Television, you can visit our website on libertytvradio.com or our YouTube channel on youtube.com/libertytv Kaduna. For eyewitness stories, pictures or videos, send to WhatsApp number 0806-874-5974. Also in the news, Speaker of House of Representatives Dogara cautions media against hate speech. On the international scene, you will hear that U.S. terminates funding for Zimbabwe's rights groups ahead of general elections. And on sports, CAF appoints Amaju Pinnick as first vice president. Stand by for these and more after this break. Now, welcome back. Let's look at the rest of the news. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has urged the media to guard against being used to spread hate speech. Dogara made the call at the inauguration of House of Representatives Press Corps Executive on Thursday in Abuja. He said that the country was largely in crisis already and appealed to the Fourth Estate to promote free speeches rather than hate speeches. The Speaker has explained that the free speeches led to debate among citizens while hate speech bred violence. He said that a noisy democracy was a healthy democracy and urged the media to promote debate among the people. The legislature said that people must agree and disagree for the truth to come out and that the media should not be censored. He said that the organ of government was the only symbol of democracy, adding that those instigating the public against it was pulling democracy down. Dogara expressed confidence in the media and that journalism was a noble profession which should not be let down. And moving on, mining experts have tasked the Director General of the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dakuku Peter Said, has stated that Nigeria will continue to seek continued technical cooperation and support from the International Maritime Organization, IMO, in order to build up sustainable capacity to be a globally competitive maritime nation contributing to economic development. The NIMASA DG, who made the assertion during a special interview he granted at the ongoing 120th Council meeting of the IMO in London, noted that technical cooperation will help build up knowledge and the necessary skills to position Nigeria as a maritime nation that operates in line with global best practices. Speaking further, he noted that the agency's area of interest for seeking technical cooperation includes domestication and ratification of IMO legal instruments, environmental stewardship, and safety issues. He also added that the cooperation is not only for NIMASA, but for all other maritime regulators and stakeholders in the country, since synergy is needed to make the country a leading maritime nation, which is the overarching goal. Rigasa community in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State have raised alarm over a likely collapse of a story building under construction. The members of the community raised the alarm when Liberty News crew visited the said building, which they allege had no strong foundation to withstand the weight. Correspondent Abdulaziz Ahmed Kadri reports.
Whoever knows Rigasa knows this place used to be Starbright. Starbright, in those days, it used to be a brothel. The brothel was born during the 2000 Sharia crisis in Kaduna. Then it became a viewing center. From a viewing center, it became a school. And from school, later it becomes a residential accommodation. Now, the fears of the people of this area is that, look, the building is not strong enough. The foundation is not strong enough to accommodate an upstairs. And their plea to the authorities is that the right thing should be done. A test must be undertaken on the building to ensure that it can actually stand as an upstairs. But one of the sons of the owners actually said otherwise, saying that the beams, the foundations, were properly put in place before building the upstairs.
The allegation and alarm being raised by the people is not true. Before
they commenced the construction of the story building. He said they worked on the foundation and ensured that all the pillars have basket foundation. He asserted that all the beams were worked on and strengthened, so nothing will happen to the building, he assured. Another respondent, Muhammad Idris Tumba, said, "This is our community and it is our people that reside here, so anything that will affect our well-being negatively will be avoided. We are concerned as this building was set ablaze before and the foundation may be weak to serve the weight of a story building. We are pleading with the authorities concerned to come and run a test on the building to ensure our safety." One of the committee members, Sanusi Yusuf, also speaking to Liberty, said, "Whoever has been in Rigasa in the past 25 years knows this building and what it has gone through. Our fear is that the structure can collapse due to the poor foundation and little loss of lives. The authorities should help us to avoid this." Other respondents, Musa Abdullahi, Mursala Suleiman Paki, and Adamu Muhammad, also spoke in the same vein.
We know Rigasa for a long 25 years, and we know the condition of this building from 25 years up to now. And according to the way they built this place, it is not at all, it's not good. So we are calling the government and the people who can help to come and put hands on this building. We are calling the authority, please and please, they should come to our take. They should come and see this building and check it. If it is proper, if it is the standard of building and upstairs, they should leave it. But if they check it and see that it's not the standard, we are calling them to please and please give them the instruction, the way they should supposed to build it, or either to demolish the place and rebuild a standard building. But this building can kill people. Anybody that sits on this building, more especially the people that will stay on the down ground, they can die at any moment because the building can collapse at any moment.
So actually the building is, I can say it's a collapse building because the building have already collapsed. If you can see the filler here, it have already collapsed. So I didn't think it's not proper to come and put people in the house because this, I can say this is a collapsed building because the buildings have already collapsed.
Rigasa community, a suburb of Kaduna metropolis in Igabi local government area, is about one of the most populous councils in the state with little presence of basic social amenities and the residents striving to make ends meet. Here within, from this side, what you have here is the whole building, which people are alleging does not have a new foundation. But on this side, in the middle, you have a whole structure, a whole new structure from the foundation up. In the whole of the structure, you have about 77 rooms. 77 rooms, yes, you had me right. And that is the complaint of the people. You can imagine having how many people in 77 rooms. And if such building collapse, what happens at the end of the day? Well, your guess is good as mine. Abdul Aziz Ahmed Kader, Liberty News.
Here's hoping that the relevant authorities will move in to sort out the problems there. And moving on, a bit on health, the United States says it has committed more than $5.1 billion to the fight against HIV and AIDS in Nigeria through its president's emergency plan for AIDS relief. The U.S. Charge d'Affaires David Young said this in Abuja at the opening of a photo exhibition to commemorate the PEPFAR's 15th anniversary in Nigeria. He reiterated the commitment of the U.S. government to collaborating with the federal government in the fight against HIV and AIDS. According to him, U.S. government has achieved encouraging results, reaching millions of Nigerians all over the country, such as providing antiretroviral treatment for those infected with HIV. He said that this included pregnant women to prevent HIV transmission to the next generation, community outreach for HIV awareness, and providing care and support to children orphaned or made vulnerable by AIDS and other children. He said the PEPFAR had helped to provide diagnostic and treatment to tuberculosis to many HIV-positive individuals. Another foreign in the U.S. has terminated funding to 3 Zimbabwean human rights and pro-democracy groups 3 weeks before an election, a move that analysts say could undermine the credibility of the country's first post-Mugabe vote. A U.S. embassy spokesman said the decision by the USAID, Washington's aid arm, to pull the plug followed a regular internal audit that uncovered unusual activity and non-compliance in the use of funds, without providing any details. General elections are scheduled to be held in Zimbabwe on July 30th to elect the president and members of both houses of parliament. The affected groups are the Zimbabwe Human Rights Association, Counseling Service Unit CSU, a health clinic that provides medical treatment to victims of police torture and abuse, and Election Resource Center ERC. Alongside its border voter education work, the ERC has been working on an independent audit to of the July 30th elections register of voters, a list that has been at the center of vote rigging allegations in the past. And lastly, on sports, the embattled president of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, Amaju Pinnick, has been appointed as the first vice president of Confederation of African Football, CAF. Pinnick's appointment is contained in a letter dated July 5, 2018, signed by CAF's General Secretary Amir Fahmy. The letter states that following resignation of the first Vice President Kwesi Anyan-Teki and the prevailing situation in the Football Federation of Nigeria, the CAF President, after consulting the members of the Emergency Committee, has appointed Amaju Melvin Pinnick as the first Vice President. It added that the decision is immediately applicable in accordance with Article 27, Paragraph 2 of the statutes, which will be ratified by the Executive Committee in its session scheduled on September 27th and 28th, 2018. Well, that was the news, but before we go, another look at the major stories. Supreme Court upholds Saraki's appeal on ATSA's declaration frees him of charges. President Buhari meets Khan, challenges judiciary on speedy prosecution of killers of Nigerians. And Speaker House of Representatives Dogara cautions media against hate speech. And on the foreign scene, you were told that the international U.S. terminates funding for Zimbabwe's rights groups ahead of general elections. And on sports, CAF appoints Amaju Pinnick as first vice president. The news team wishes you a pleasant viewing time, leaving you with this Liberty quote: "Fantasy is hardly an escape from reality. It's a way of understanding it," by Lloyd Alexander. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.